Hey guys, LevelCap here, and today we're taking a look at the M416 post-patch. Now this gun went through some significant changes, and personally I think it is one of the best assault rifles available now. But before you guys run off saying, oh, M416 is the best gun now, I will say the Aek still takes the cake in close quarters. The M416 medium range and long range is damn impressive now, though. The accuracy is just insane. It's absolutely insane. The recoil is so little. I was able to win so many sniper battles with this weapon. The one area where the M416 will always fall short, though, is its rate of fire. 750 rounds per minute is definitely nothing to laugh at. It will drop people quite fast, but when you're going up against even an M16A3 or an Aek, or a FAMAS or an F2000 in close quarters, you're going to lose those battles just because they have a faster rate of fire. However, the recoil is so little that you can really get very used to shooting exactly for the head with this weapon, because it's just not going to kick. It's hardly going to kick at all. The side-to-side recoil is so minimal now. The horizontal or the vertical recoil is so minimal now. It's just incredibly easy to control. Not to mention, the short reload time on this gun has now gotten reduced to the point where it is the fastest reloading assault rifle available. It's almost faster to reload this gun than to switch to a sidearm. It's pretty darn impressive. Clocking in at 1.75 seconds, the M416 just outclasses the M16A3 in reload speed, which reloads at 1.8 seconds, so it's just faster than the M16A3. And it's absolutely a delight to use this gun in combat, because you can just reload it so fast. You really don't get caught while reloading, very rarely with this weapon. So what exactly are all the changes that DICE made to the M416 to make it shine so well? Well, for one, they lowered the right recoil from 0.3 to 0.2. They increased the left recoil from 0.1 to 0.15, which is an overall horizontal recoil reduction of 0.5. So the side-to-side recoil, which was already tied for some of the lowest in the game, is now even lower. The vertical recoil has been reduced from 0.28 to 0.26, which is small but still significant. And here's a pretty big one also. The initial recoil multiplier of 2.0 was reduced to 1.8. That initial recoil multiplier is applied to every first shot that you fire between bursts, and that will kick the gun back. So now that that has been reduced to 1.8, which is extremely low for any gun, it's very, very easy to control this recoil, especially when aiming down sights at long range targets. There just really doesn't feel like much of a kick. It's very easy to control and just manage and keep all your shots right on target. And as mentioned before, the short reload time was reduced to 1.75 seconds from 1.9 seconds, so that's a pretty big reduction in reload time. It also got a vertical recoil reduction when using a bipod, which I don't think really applies to too many people out there. I think if you're using a bipod with this gun, you're using it wrong. Now, as for equipping this gun with attachments, I would say get rid of the heavy barrel. You don't even need to put a bipod on there. Just don't put anything in the underslung slot for this weapon. Put whatever sight you like on here. Obviously, I like the Cobra. You could definitely get away with a hollow sight since this thing is so amazingly accurate. I was getting snipers in no-shot canals from across the maps. All the way from the trains, I was able to take those snipers off the cranes. So it's definitely accurate enough to get snipers from across the map, so you can play around with some higher zoom scopes. I don't feel the need for it. As for barrel attachments, I still like to run with the heavy barrel, even though the heavy barrel got a little bit of a nerf in the recent patch. Basically, it doesn't increase the damage over range quite as much as it used to. It still does increase your aimed accuracy with this weapon, so I really do enjoy that, making this gun even more accurate. You're welcome to run with something like a laser sight or a suppressor. You know, given the right situations, this gun is still going to perform admirably. So does this amazing boost to the M416's effectiveness put the M16A3 out of the picture? No, it doesn't put the M16A3 out of the picture. In fact, people were afraid that the M16A3 was going to get some sort of massive nerf. It really didn't. It got a small recoil increase which is still quite easy to manage. So if you love your M16A3 and don't want to give it up, you don't have to. It's not even going to take any time to get used to the new recoil. It's very, very familiar and very easy to use. Now the Aek is still a particularly lethal contender for top assault rifle at this point. It only got a boost since last patch, and since the Aek was already so popular and so effective, the only thing holding it back was its reload time, and guess what DICE changed? They gave it a faster reload time. So now the Aek is extremely lethal and effective in close quarters and medium range combat. Its biggest friend being its 900 round per minute rate of fire, which is 150 rounds faster than the M416. So believe me when I say the M416 is not some sort of like all around best gun ever. It's a great gun and I think it performs excellently in every single situation, but there's definitely weapons out there that will outshoot this gun in specific scenarios. Now, as for long range maps, there are very few guns that I would choose over this. It has a great bullet velocity of 600 meters per second, which is faster than some of the other highly accurate assault rifles out there, like the Scar L and the G3A3. And it's tied with the AN94 for 600 meters per second, and it's also tied with the AK-74M. But I would still pick the M416 over those two assault rifles just because the continuous fire of this weapon is so easy to manage and so easy to keep on targets at longer ranges that I have had no problem taking down those long range targets. As you might have seen in this video so far, I've been just dominating snipers at long range with this weapon, no problem. So do I think that the M416 may have gone overboard? Do I think DICE might have made it a little bit too good, reduced the recoil too much, and now there's just guns that can't compete with it? I think the M416 has got a good place currently in that it cannot dominate at all ranges. It's very good at medium, however, so is the Aek, so is the M16A3. It's extremely good at long range, and I do think that the M416 kind of kicks some other guns out of the running, like the Scar L and the AK-74M, and possibly even the AN94, even though that's kind of a unique weapon because of its firing rate. There's just not a lot of other long-range weapons that I would take for the assault class over the M416. I think it is kind of top dog when it comes to long range. And since this game is Battlefield, most of your engagements are going to take place at medium to long range. Now if you're playing Team Deathmatch, which I am here, you're going to get a good variety of those situations. The M416 fares extremely well in all of those situations also. But you know what, there's some maps like No Shark Canals where I think I'd probably be more comfortable running with an Aek, maybe even an M16A3 just because of that slightly faster rate of fire. There's a lot to be said for rates of fire, and the M416 just really isn't an impressive weapon in that regard. Now for those of you who have seen the M16A3 video that I made talking about why I thought it was the best gun in the game, will know that I have a huge amount of respect for a weapon's versatility. That's actually where I put most of my value in a weapon, is its ability to change from close quarters to medium range to long range and be very effective at all those ranges. I no longer think the M16A3 is the top dog when it comes to those situations. I think the M416 now takes the cake because although it's not quite as effective as the M16A3 at close quarters, I think it's almost tied with the M16 at medium range, but the gun just absolutely blows all competition out of the water at longer ranges. So although I would say it kind of falls a tiny bit short of the M16A3 in close quarters and medium range, it just soars way beyond the abilities of the M16A3 at longer range, and that's actually where a significant amount of fighting goes on. So I think the M416 just squeaks ahead of the M16A3, and it is now my new weapon of choice and potentially one of the best guns in Battlefield 3. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Remember to rate it if you did, and I'll see you guys next time. This is LevelCap, signing off.